Welcome into episode number 109 of The Voice Behind the Voice. I'm Sean Aronson, the TV and radio broadcaster for the St. Paul Saints, an independent minor league baseball team in the Twin Cities. Well, today as I record this, it is April the 16th. It is Monday, April 16th. We are about 5 weeks away from getting our season started. Those of you on the video side can see I'm holding up a baseball. Okay, for those of you on the audio side, you're just going to have to trust me. However, in this state of Minnesota, over the weekend, and I kid you not, there was roughly a foot to a foot and a half of snow in the Twin Cities metro area, depending on where you lived. Now, I don't want to be the guy that comes on here and talks about weather and all that, but let me reiterate that. It is April 16th, and there was a foot to a foot and a half of snow in the Twin Cities metro area. This is beyond ridiculous. We have already hit the snowiest month of April, and we're just at the halfway point, and they are calling for more snow later on this week, about Wednesday or Thursday. It is hard to get into the baseball mentality when you look outside and it is a whiteout, it is a blizzard, it is just weather that nobody wants to go out into. The Twins had to cancel their entire weekend series against the White Sox. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all canceled because of the weather here in the Twin Cities. It is brutal. For those of you that live in winter areas, they talk about seasonal depression. I was never, ever a believer in that because, look, I was born and raised in California. You don't ever have to worry about it. I went to the University of Colorado, and in my first year, I discovered what seasonal depression was. I felt it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was called. But I remember this time of the year, in April, when the sun came out again and it was really nice, and I was like, wow, I feel so much better. That's what happened. Seriously, that's exactly what happened. But it is hard in this area at this time when it's, seriously, the field is covered in snow. And this is exactly what happens. And you may have seen me tweet this out on the Voice BTV. But in Minnesota, Minnesotans have a tendency that during the summertime, when it gets nice and it's like 75 degrees and maybe July, whenever it's going to be that, and they'll turn to someone and they'll say, "That's why we live here." And the first person that I hear say that this year, I'm going to turn around and punch them, because selective memory of what it's like this time of the year, summer or spring for that matter, has been shortened because winter continues to go. Okay, I'm going to get off the soapbox and we'll move on. And we'll move on to episode number 109 in a place that doesn't have to deal with the cold and winter. It is the Los Angeles Clippers broadcaster, Brian Sieman. Now, Brian could not have been any nicer. We did this at the hotel they were staying at, up in the room that he was at, and I discovered something right off the bat. Right, I led with a question about his family, his parents, and he came right out of the gate with some information that I didn't find out there, and I flat asked him at the beginning of this conversation, I said, "Is that anywhere out there? I mean, has it really been talked about?" He said, "Some people know, but it's not really widely known out there." And I mean, it was pretty humbling that right off the bat, he gave a pretty intimate piece of detail about him and his family and stuff like that. Which led to an overall tremendous conversation about a bunch of different things, including him having to work as a salesman early on in his life and working in the CBA, and how Isiah Thomas, not the Lakers point guard, but Isiah Thomas, the Hall of Famer, how he who basically bought the CBA owes Brian money. I mean, it was tremendous to talk to Brian and some of the things that he put out there. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, do so on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Again, be sure to rate it. You can follow us on social media, on Facebook, facebook.com/TheVoiceBTV, on Twitter, at thevoicebtv. And of course, you can always email me, thevoicebtv@gmail.com. All right, let's get to episode number 109. It is Brian Sieman of the Los Angeles Clippers. JW, roll the open.
We get on the bus, we get on the plane, and I get the phone call, and I land, and I get to my hotel room. I want to make sure that I'm out of the sight. And I call my dad, and she's like, yeah, she's awake. She's conscious. Here she is. And, I'm just like, Mom, I'm a wreck. I'm like, Mom, how are you? And she's like, how many did Jamal Crawford score, Brian? And I'm like thinking that she's like under like some kind of anesthesia still. And I'm like, what? And she's like, he's my favorite player, Brian. How many did he score? He had a great first half. And did we win? And I'm like, I don't know if to be excited. I don't know what to be worried. And I'm like, he had 21 and we did win. She's like, well, he looked really good.